So make sure to subscribe. That's where we're posting all of our training videos as well as additional recordings for today's session. Today, obviously, if y'all did not know, is stats meeting. So if you ever see any of this information, want to cross-reference it against the slides that are going to be sent out, you can always reference this on the YouTube channel once you subscribe. Thanks for doing so.
To our YouTube channel.
Oh God, I just heard myself, and that's scary. All right, wanting to start out with some good vibes and welcoming some of the new Metro family members. So when you see them around, give them a nice congratulatory high five after sanitizing your hands. Would like to give a warm welcome back to Laura Bentley. She's joining us back from Big Block and is looking forward to expanding and starting to create and work on a team. So, woo! Welcome back, Laura! Also welcoming the newest family member as well, Brad Darlington. So he's a broker that basically decided to make the decision to switch over to Metro purely because the energy and all of the value that we're providing. So thank you for joining us. Welcome, Laura and Brad. Let's see. Okay, also with the good vibes, we got a few birthdays going on this month. So
share it.
Yep, we're about to share it right now. So we have about 30 people on right now. So I'm going to ask that I'm going to give you the count of 3 to unmute yourselves. And we're all going to join in on a rambunctious happy birthday on the count of 3 after I read the slide. So for the month of August, give your warmest happy birthday to Robert, Melissa, Roger, Anita, Danica, Nancy. Ooh, hey, Nancy. Jessica, very sexy Chris Spade. Ooh, today. Sandra, Francis, Yuri, Carissa, James, Corey, and Lindsay. On the count of 3, let's give a nice happy birthday. 1, 2, 3.
Happy birthday!
There we go. All right, cool. That wasn't as crazy as I thought. That's good. That's good. All right, cool. Let's see. Let's open this up to some bucket fills. Whose bucket would you like to fill today?
I have a bucket fill.
Yes, Susan.
Miss Sarah Smith. She did some prospecting for me in Coronado, and we just closed escrow on it. So she was a trooper. I've just given her another prospecting on a complex in Tierra Santa we're interested in, but I just want to say, yay, hands up to Sarah Smith. She rocked it.
Hey, great job, Sarah, and great job, Susan. So again, camaraderie. Oh, great! Now I got bunny ears. So congratulations to both of you guys. That's awesome. Now I can't look at myself seriously. Thanks, Evie.
I'm sorry.
I have no control over it. I have no control over this. So you're welcome, everyone. All right. Who else has a bucket fill?
I want to give a bucket fill here to Broker Bob and to Mark Miller. I'm a broker, and you know what? I used to hate it when I get those things from SDAR. They'd say, go ask your broker. It's like, oh yeah, I'm stuck now. In this office, I can ask them, and they patiently go through it with me. They guide me. They keep me out of trouble. And Mark especially gave me some pretty cool tips on a couple things online, just things I didn't know like to use control or command F to search any form. So that saved me a bunch of time this week. Thank you.
Love it. Thank you for giving them some love. They don't always, right? So we love you guys. Thank y'all. All right. And actually, so if y'all don't mind, I'd actually like to give a few shout outs. So one goes out to Nikki Francis. So we know Nikki for a variety of different reasons, known for her culture, her energy, and the value that she brings to so many agents. And specifically, I just want to express my gratitude. The commercial department is one here at Metro that it's been intimate, and it stayed that way, right? Not right or wrong, but it stayed intimate. Nikki and Chris Patricia have partnered up together in a huge endeavor as far as providing additional value, getting, prospecting commercial agents, putting together commercial deals, and being able to serve your commercial referrals at the highest level. So with Nikki, we've been able to really plus the services that Chris Patricia has been able to bring to the office. So I just wanted to give a nice little shout out to Nikki and Chris, Nikki for really bringing that together. Thank you both. Wanting to also give a nice little shout out to Balin. So again, he's one that I've had the pleasure of being able to work with for quite some time now. And to be able to see the progress and everything clicking, there's many of you guys that this is clicking for you, but Balin, I just want to acknowledge for all the stuff that you've been going through personally, anybody that knows him understands, but to still plunge forward with your business, not only to meet your goals, but actually exceeding them for the year already. So a nice little high five to Balin. Also to Paul Tolentino. So this is one guy that he's been licensed for 3 weeks, and he's going to be working on his second listing from cold calling. So that goes actually a little shout out to Paul and his coach, Alicia. So yeah, that's how it goes. And also something to kind of mention just as a little tidbit, all of the coaches, all of the leadership team, we can ultimately decide and know who's going to be the most successful based on how coachable you are, right? The least coachable, the more rigid you're thinking, you're not open to additional forms of reality and different ways of doing things. The more coachable you are, the more expansive your mindset can be. If things aren't exactly going your way, just take a moment to say, how coachable have I been around this particular item? So little tidbit. Also, a shout out to the entire office. Yesterday, we opened 20 escrows. Yesterday alone, 20.
Woo!
4 of those were done from within the office. So basically, 2 of those listings were represented by 2 of the buyers here in the office. So great job on keeping that internal. We know the agents, we know the reputation. So hey, why not work with each other? So great job, team. Great job. Training coming up with Command with Clarissa, Thursday the 13th at 2 p.m. via Facebook Live. Ashley's Come Together Right Now series is continuing, but will now only be every Wednesday starting next week. The Zoom and Learn, YouTube and Instagram presented by Movement Mortgage, Eddie and Wes, starts the 13th.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow. So heads up on that. And that's from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Perfect, via Zoom. Let's see.
Ed is shaking his head no.
Ed, you don't want to, you changed your mind?
No, I thought it was at noon, Eve.
Have it at 11.
Sounds good. Yeah, 11 o'clock, everybody. Woohoo!
Perfect. Well, that's what we look forward to seeing.
We've actually decided to take a little bit of a shift on the class just because there's so many new fresh faces. Wes and I decided to do a Mortgage 101. We haven't done it in a very long time. And so we're going to go over some guidelines, some very basic guidelines, but things that you guys should all know about with FHA loans, VA loans, conventional loans. So it'll give you guys a good basis of what to know about when people are talking about loans out there.
Awesome, man. Thank you. And then also, I'm going to speak on behalf of the ALC, the Agent Leadership Council's Culture Committee. It's going to be watch out for the who's who of Metro. So this is going to be a fun little trivia game on the 26th at 6 p.m. Nice little happy hour. Bring your favorite beverage. But make sure to fill out the form that's going to be sent out to you guys. It's going to be a fun way to get to know each other, make our family even tighter. All right. We also have special guests on as far as our strategic marketing spotlight, San Diego Financial, Jay and Tess Fletcher. So would love the opportunity to hear from you guys and share with us, what are you all about and how do you add value to us?
Yes, hi. We had been introduced maybe a month or two back, but basically my wife and I moved to San Diego, just signed our lease in March, so our timing probably couldn't have been better, right? But anyway, basically what we do, and I've been doing this for some time, investments, we work with clients on their retirement planning, all sorts of retirement plans on the managed money, alternative investments, life insurance, and fixed and index annuities. What I want to talk to you about today is in the alternative investment space. This is specifically for either you or your clients that are invested in commercial or residential real estate. I work with a company, the private equity firm, where their business is a very strong business, and I'll go into that shortly, but this investment throws off passive losses. So if you have rental, your clients have rental income, really good matchup. The company's name is Triton Pacific. They're one of their private equity investments is named Tasty Brands. This is for accredited investors. And basically what they invest in is in an area of the market where we're not seeing a recession right now. That's in the fast food segment. Basically for a few decades now, they've been investing in particularly Burger Kings in the Midwest and also in Pizza Huts in the Southeast. And they're doing extremely well. Their business during the COVID crisis is actually up due to the drive-through component. They actually had picked up, I think it was 5 or 6 additional Burger Kings in the Midwest. They have such a good relationship with the owners that they were able to buy these franchises for $1 a piece. So there's a lot of ability to earn money there. And basically, you know, just the gist of this, it throws off 7% current income. You should expect in a 5-year time frame, 12 to 15% return. But the passive losses on this are significant for accredited investors. For every $1 you invest, you get a one-time passive loss of 50 cents. So with your commercial or residential investor crowd, they love this stuff. And then lastly, I wanted to just throw something out to you guys. With all the relationships I have where I work with wholesalers throughout the San Diego area, they have large expense accounts. So if you have events that you want to, you know, start or you need financial assistance on, I would be able to help you with that. And I just want to close with, I really appreciate being able to talk with you again. And if there's anything you need, we had put on the chat our contact information, and just you know, just reach out. We do a lot of different things, and look forward to working with you all. Thank you.
Now let's just look at the chat box here. So yes, Edie has the contact information up on the screen right now. And as I was reading the comments, Nikki, thank you so much for shouting out Nicole. So those that don't know what Nicole is going through, it's been a journey. She's actively going through cancer treatments, and yet amidst everything that she has going on as well personally, she's still finding time to dedicate to business, and I believe has opened up a recent escrow as well. So, I mean, dang, if that's not superwoman status, two escrows, my bad. So if that's not superwoman status, I don't know what is. So Nicole, Nikki, thank you for the reminder. Great job. Broker Bob, give us some updates on the launch and growth coaching, please.
Thank you, Stephen. Well, already shout out to Nicole. She opened up 2 escrows. You know, one thing about being in the hospital is that's where you can really lead prospect and lead generate, because you got a captive audience. And I think that's where she's getting some of her business. Yeah. Good for her. And then Carrie Dunn closed her first escrow or closed an escrow and growth. She's with Alicia as well. And then of course, Nicole opened 2 in growth with Alicia. Mustafa opened an escrow on his new listing. He got multiple offers. He's in growth with Alicia. Oh, this is the Alicia group today. And Lori Kurth got 2 BRE signed, launch with Alicia. And a reminder, congratulations everybody in the coaching program. And if you've done something you haven't been noticed for, remind your coach, hey, I need to be on that slideshow every week. Reminder, we got Ignite Virtual going on right now, so be aware of that. We are actually getting a really good group there and great learning going on. Now let's do some broker updates. So 2020 has been a year of growth, right?
Mm.
So does anybody remember a person named Chuck Yeager? Chuck Yeager broke the actual sound barrier in 1947. And when he was in, he did it in a rocket ship or something. When he was in the rocket ship was the shakiest right before he broke the sound barrier. And as soon as he broke it, it was smooth sailing. That's where we are right now in 2020. And so I just want to lend a little bit of encouragement. Sometimes as broker, I get a lot of the transactional issues. And sometimes when I get the transactional issues, I find that it's agents usually fighting with the other agent on the other side. So I need to play this intermediary and just kind of, calm the nerves, get them out of their head. And I know definitely COVID has caused a lot of people to be in their heads. I know that emotions are a little bit higher than normal, and somebody said the other day, I just want to go back to my normal life. Well, guess what? There is no normal life to go back to. We're entering into a new reality. But here's what I believe. I truly believe that during this growth period, which is uncomfortable, we are going to come out of this stronger and better on the other side. That said, I want you to realize during this period, you're going to have a little bit of challenges, a little bit of struggles, a little bit of questions going on. But I need you to make sure that you're taking care of your mental health and your physical health. The one thing you can do to protect yourself against COVID is to eat well, exercise, get lots of rest. Well, it's the same diagnosis for actually prescription for how you may be feeling or dealing with this period. I had to calm a lot of nerves in the last week. And one of the things I wanted to make sure everybody did was, for my respite this summer, I've been spending afternoons or weekends on the beach, just listening to the ocean. That's my solace. That's grounding me. It's getting as close to earth as I can. And by the way, it's at Black's Beach and I'm not wearing much either. So I'm really grounded. So if you are there at Black's Beach, you probably, be prepared. But my point on this is, besides getting you enticed to come to Black's Beach to see Broker Bob butt-ass naked on the beach, I want you to take time for yourself. I want you to take time spending time for your family. COVID has allowed us to go within. COVID is allowed to be at home with our family, connect with them. COVID's allowed to figure out what's important to us. We're on a universal pause right now. And my hope is that we, not only as a real estate community, but as a world, grow from this. And I truly believe you'll look back 4 to 5 years from now when you think about 2020, about what part you played, but how much you grew through this. When we went through the global crisis in 2008, it seems like it was so long ago. And in the moment, we were panicking. And now we're like, oh, wow, we were really that upset. We don't even remember what we were going through sometimes. It just happened, but we grew from it. So that's my broker update today. It's really just to kind of give a message. I'm not going to give you any new forms that you got to fill out or sign. I just want to touch base and have you guys take time to figure out what's important. Tell people in your life you love them. But most important, take care of yourself. And I love all you guys.
We love you, Bear Buns, Broker Bob, and everything. So, wanted to pass this over. Thank you, Robert. I really do. In all seriousness, though, that is a good message that we don't value that enough. And just as we balance the business, we got to balance our sanity. So, Eddie, Wes, get us up to speed. Movement Mortgage. What y'all got?
We're just gonna pass up on our time so Ashley can go. Yeah, go ahead. I just wanted to let everybody know about the class tomorrow. And just check on our Facebook page, our internal page. We'll get the invite back up and updated and everything with times. And we'll hit you guys up tomorrow. Thanks.
Perfect, man. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. So without further ado, any of your buyer or seller needs, please make sure to post that in the inter office page. Again, just yesterday, we got into 4 of them double-ended between agents. So make sure to post on the inner office. We're still helping each other out. Ashley, you're the reason why we're here. Take it away.
All right. So I'm going to ask if anybody has questions. Instead of using the chat box, just chime in because I cannot look at the chat box and go through the stats. Cool? All right. Sharing screen. Now, I think I saw her on here somewhere. Emily and I were talking last week, and she had asked me to look up rankings, where our agents ranked. And we're going to start with that after this Thanksgiving slide. So why do I have Thanksgiving on here? We got a lot of new faces on this Zoom. Why would I put it on there? Joe, you gave me a hand sign. What did the hand sign mean?
90 days from today.
I don't know what the hand sign means. I was playing with Zoom.
Oh, you did something.
But I can answer the question.
Okay.
And the answer is whatever you're doing today shows up 3 months from now. 3 months from now is Thanksgiving.
Which is crazy.
Yes, it's insane.
It's insane. So we'll hit election day first, November 3rd, also Michael Barrow's birthday, and then Thanksgiving. So again, whatever you're doing today, income-wise, is going to show up or not show up 90 days from now. All right, deep breath. This is going to be fun. I haven't run these numbers for probably 6 or 7 years, and when I ran them yesterday, I was a little in shock. So, can you all see that? Okay, how many realtors do we have in San Diego? This is the 3 different boards. 28,000 realtors. It's higher than I've ever known it to be. And only 5,843 have closed at least one transaction in the last year. That's lower than I've ever known it to be, by like half. So it's interesting. I see Deb Yatsko on here. Anybody who's affiliated services, this is kind of cool because you know your population you're actually going after is really small. Now I broke it down also and put percentages all the way to, I guess, your right. So if you know how many transactions you've closed, you can determine what percentile you're in by looking at this slide. So the top 20% of realtors in San Diego have closed 1 deal or more. So just by closing 1 transaction, you're in the top 20% because 80% didn't do anything. Isn't that crazy? Now, out of that, 1,816 agents closed 1 deal. This is a live question. And I don't want it to come from judgment, but I am really curious what you as a group of, I don't know, 68 people, I think. How many transactions would you have to do in a year, especially in a year that's changing as much as this is, to really know what you're doing? You guys already have this, by the way. So if you don't have to take pictures of it. It's in the PowerPoint. So with things constantly changing, I mean, my God, Mark and Robert are educating us daily on the changes that are going on. How many transactions do you have to have your hands in a year?
About 5.
Okay. And look how few people have. I mean, less than 3,000 agents out of 20,000, which means a lot of your frustration, Robert was just alluding to, is probably coming from dealing with agents on the other side who have no clue what the heck is going on. And these numbers just justify it. I mean, it's evidence. Now, a lot of our agents are in that 10 plus unit category, a lot. But look at that, 975 agents out of 28,000 are closing 10 unit, have closed 10 units or more in the last 12 months. And those 975 agents represent 19,000 units closed. Anybody else a little shocked by that number? That is insane. So to be in the top 3%, you need to close 10 units or more. And I would encourage you all, make that your goal. We should start looking at the 2021 business plan, 10 units or more for sure. You all have the capacity to be in that group of 975 agents. Any thoughts?
You still make numbers sound sexy.
Thanks, Mindy. All right. So here are, I did this last month for the first time just to show how little our inventory was. And I wanted to put last month, which was a record low, in comparison to this month, which is a record low. So active, as of today, active detached units under $1 million in all of San Diego County. How many? 995, under $1 million. And we have 2,543 in pending. There's a challenge there. And sold in the last 30 days, 1,641. That number is going to go up dramatically for the month of August, obviously. Active detached over $1 million, 1,184. That's way behind last month. The pendings are up at 880 and sold over the last 30 days, 542, which is way up. By the way, that trend is also going up. So the overall message today is we are continuing to contract at such a rapid pace. It's breathtaking. And I would highly, highly, highly encourage you spend 100% of your work energy in finding listings. Because out of 995, I bet with the 60, 70 people we have on here, I bet we have 300 buyers represented in our office right now. That'd be one per agent. And there's only 2,000 properties total to go after. If you're uncomfortable on the buy side because you're in multiple offer situations, it's not going to get much better. And here's on the condo side. We're seeing the same thing, not quite as dramatic, but it just very, very little inventory. Okay. Questions? Here's the script I would use. And of course, our script master, Steven, can clean this up. But if we're targeting going after listings, the best way to get them is to say, I've got buyers. What would cause you to sell? There's a lot going on in the chat box and I can't see it, kids. So if you have something to say, unmute yourself. All right. So this is listed 2018, 2019, 2020. And you can see pretty aggressive trends that we are listing a lot fewer properties than we have the last 2 years. In the top corner, you can see year to date. So this is through the end of July. We're behind last year by roughly 5,000 listings. And yet we've only sold 1,500 fewer. So our absorption rate is 66% through the end of July. And that's going to go up because we're not listing enough right now. Okay. Just another visual representation of this because Russ Fred Schulis likes it better this way. You may be able to see the red bar is 2020. So the trend is way off of last year and the year before. Okay. Listed compared to sold. I'm sorry, this is just sold 2018, 19, and 20. What is interesting here is the sweet spot in our market now has moved up. And it's between 600 and 800,000. Makes sense, right? And that's primarily because that's where we have the inventory. If we had more inventory under those price points, our numbers would be higher. Okay. 3-year trends by sold price. Again, same kind of data, just in a different, more linear format. We're absorbing everything. We'll just say that. So this slide shows you the last 10 years, the last day of July, what we saw as far as actives. So if we go back to 2010, We had 12,318 active houses and 6,586 active condos. And now we have 2,569 active houses and 1,701 active condos. This is why 100% of your energy should be focused on finding listings, because your life will just be a heck of a lot easier. And by the way, if we go back to the 975 agents that have closed 10 or more deals, how many of those do you think are listing heavy? I should break that down for next month. It's about the top 10%. So we've got 90% of agents really carrying the load and selling all those listings, and only 10% that are really listing heavy. I would love for you all to be in that 10%. Life is just a lot easier. All right, so listed compared to sold 2020. I did change this this month, and usually I have the listed on top as far as the blue bar, and the yellow would be the sold. I liked this better because it underlined the absorption rates. So sold is the yellow bar and listed is the blue bar. 71.34% absorption during a worldwide pandemic is a little mind-blowing. And that's in the $300,000 to $400,000 price range. I would bet there's nothing in that price range that's going without multiple offers. I'd make a sizable bet on that. Same thing for 400 to 500. And then what was most surprising to me is the biggest absorption rate is at the 500 to 600. Because that's not really entry level anymore, yet it's absorbing faster than anything else. Okay. New listings brought to market. Here's the good news. At least the trajectory is up. Yet you can tell, I've marked time here every July, back 5 years. We are way under on housing single family housing units compared to any July prior for the last 5 years. Condos came up this last month. So that's nice. That's the highest new listings in condos that we've seen actually back 10 years. And it's still not enough to meet demand, because here's the actives. So when you see a trend like that, I'm really going to be curious to see what August and September looks like. I could have never predicted that we would see under 3,000 units available for houses. It is really, if you think San Diego County has a population of just over 3 million people, and there's less than 3,000 single family houses available, what's that percentage? I believe it's 0.1%.
Yep.
Ashley, question for you.
Yes.
So is inventory still falling from this chart? It looks like it is still falling on detached. On attached, it looks like it's going up slightly.
This last month, we listed enough. Let's see if I can go back. If I can go back, we listed enough condos to skew it just for the condos, at least for the month of July. I don't know if that's going to continue in August. Yet the absorption rate is still in the 70 percentile. So yeah, the inventory is still going down because everything's being snapped up.
Ashley, do you have any feeling for why the condo inventory is starting to increase? You would think no, because we have a lot of first-time home buyer activity with these low interest rates. Do you think it's investors offloading?
This is a total guess, Melinda. No, I don't think it's investors offloading. I think, and if I were in productivity, I would be farming condos, because I think there's been a lot of people who are a little pissed off about being trapped in a tiny condo. And they're looking at another 6 months, 12 months, 24 months of similar. So let's get in the housing market,
So
sell ours, and
then move up to single family market.
Yep. Okay. Which is then going to put more pressure on that, which is what we're seeing. All right. Look at that trajectory. insane. Now we had that not artificial, it was a real low May, right? Because we didn't have a whole lot going on in April, so May closings were down. But look at the springboard up in terms of pendings. That pent-up demand showed up right now. So it'll be interesting to see if that sustains itself through August and September. You guys are in the market right now. You have people. What do you feel like we're going to show another number like that in August? Acosta says yes. So if that's the case, more contraction on inventory. Gosh, maybe we should do a poll or a what do they call it when you do like a Super Bowl pool? How low can we go? Will we see fewer than 2,000 listings total? Fewer than 500 single family? Anybody want to venture a guess? And the solds. So again, seeing that springboard. All right, median sales price, this should be no surprise. As activity picks up and you have more competition for the limited supply, your median and average is going to go up. And now we haven't seen a bump like that in just a 60-day period ever. And I don't think that's sustainable. Like that will level off. We're not going to see another 5% or 6% or 7% jump over the next few months.
So what is that percent increase? You know, offhand?
Let's see if it'll come up on my
last 60 days or whatever it is.
I don't have the hard number here. I can't look at it while I'm on the slideshow.
Somebody told me it was like 5%.
Yeah, looking at the trend, I would say 6 or 7% probably. I can get that to you afterwards. Okay. Average, same thing. That's not sustainable. And that's a little fluky. Now both are up, but that $947,000 average sales price for a single family house, that's going to probably come down closer to 875, I would think, next month. There were a couple large sales. And when you see the SDAR slides, the last two slides of this, the price point that had the biggest tick up in terms of numbers of units sold was actually over $2 million. It's not that many units, but when you throw those into an average mix, it skews them pretty significantly. Oh, by the way, Lisa Bolkin was responsible for one of those at 9.9 million. All right.
Ashley,
Yes, Deb.
you think that's part because of a lot of new construction, maybe? The price?
No, because most of the new construction isn't in the MLS. Great question, by the way.
Okay.
And the new construction for all of my slides, and every month I do this, really isn't a factor because most of the builders aren't listing all of their units in here.
Okay, because they're sky high too. They're like, over 2 million and so.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Unfortunately, there's not a simple way for me to get all of that. Actually, I don't think there's any way for me to get all of it unless I hired an outside firm. So this is just the resale market. And at 11 days, median market time for houses and 9 days for condos. Again, what that means, I'm sorry, switch that. Condos are 11 days and detached are 9 days. If you have a listing and you haven't received offers by 9 or 11 days, you're overpriced. Probably not happening a lot right now. I think you could miss pricing on anything under $1 million by $100,000 and still be all right. That's your indicator. And months of supply ticked down on houses. Again, 945 under $1 million, and remaining very consistent with condos at 1.9 months. Average list price to sales price is up. And I told you last month it would be. Likely in August, it's going to be up again. We are really bordering on that. We're going to be at 100% or over. So if you are representing buyers who want a low ball, probably not a buyer you want to be running around right now. What this also shows is there's not probably a whole lot of concessions going on once you're in escrow, because they're closing for 99% of list price. All right, SDAR's monthly snapshot. Highlighted the two sections that I thought were pertinent. Closed sales increased slightly, 3.3% over last July and 4.5% for attached. However, pending sales increased 21.4% and 26.7%. Again, that's why we're just running out of inventory. Inventory decreased. This is a good takeaway. Inventory decreased 51.8% for houses. So if you're prospecting for listings to people who have houses, that's a number I would be spouting off. And 28.9% on condos. Median sales price was up. We saw that. And decreased days on market.
This inventory decrease of 51%, is that year over year?
It's July over July.
Okay.
Yep. All right, next one, the very last paragraph, market-wide inventory levels were down 44.6%. So it doesn't matter what housing type. Market, that includes manufactured, mobile, everything. Property type with the smallest decline was the condos and townhome segment, only because we saw the increased listings come to market. But they still were down 28.9%. Yep. All right. I'm gonna put that on there. Tell me what conversations you're having with buyers right now. Because we tend to be a buyer heavy office, and it honestly does make me very concerned for you guys, because it's got to be excruciatingly painful right now.
So Ashley, this is Dan Becker.
Hey, Beck.
So I just had a property go into escrow on Monday, and my conversation with the buyers went along the lines of, we need to be prepared to pay at or above asking price, and to know that you're going to be in a competitive offer situation where there's likely going to be multiple offers and not just one or two. So we need to be prepared for that. You need to be emotionally prepared and fiscally prepared to be able to handle those situations when they come up.
Okay. And were you in multiple offers?
Yes.
Do you know how many?
Well, I had two different buyers. So the one that I went into escrow on Monday, there were 16 offers on the property that got ours accepted. So, and that was purely because I built relationship with the listing agent.
Great job. Now, if you put that listing agent's hat on and your buyers come and say, you know what, there's $10,000 of termite work that needs to be done, what are you going to advise your sellers?
Yeah. So what I'm going to advise my sellers is that they can take that information and disclose it, but not feel pressured to do the work.
No, because there's 15 people who didn't get the house who are probably still in the market.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So when we're in market conditions like this, not only do we need to be prepared to pay over asking, we also need to be prepared to not ask for anything once we're in escrow.
Hi, it's Judy.
Hey, Judy.
Yeah, I'm working with a buyer now, and they're pretty quick on catching on what's going on. I just had to show them a few things, because I always call the listing agent and ask them how many offers they have and where they are with the offers. And many times they are cooperative with me. The last one we offered on, there were 44 offers. And the starting price was like $534, and I think they ended up at $615. Anyway,
so what I just said, you can miss pricing by $100,000. You basically just showed, yeah.
Well, the house is probably worth about 600. I mean, somewhere around there, you know. So I can see that. You know, I warned them too. I said, you know, we can't put a low ball offer in. I think they went up to I think they went up to 580, but that was just not okay. You know, it wasn't enough.
So and again, if we go back to that first slide,
mm-hmm.
where I showed how many agents have closed a deal.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a way that you all can start talking about how important it is to be really an active realtor when you're in these competitive situations, instead of being that agent out of thousands that only has closed a deal in the last 12 months? They're not going to be getting offers like that accepted. That's You guys need to position yourselves with that strength without making the industry look horrible. Because honestly, if we put out there publicly, and I thought about doing it this morning, there's 28,000 realtors in San Diego, but only 5,000 who close deals. That doesn't make the industry look great. However, you can elevate yourself with those numbers.
Does that include people with licenses such as
No,
loan
the
officers?
shocking thing is I actually called SDAR and they got me the numbers. Those are people who are paying, shocking to me, paying their NAR, CAR, and SDAR or other association dues. So that is not all licensees in San Diego County.
Well, I just want to let you know that we put an offer in this week on a property that was not on the market. And apparently it's listed, it's already listed, listed with the agent, but she didn't put it on the market. So I really have been working with her on getting our offer accepted. We put in $25,000 above asking price.
So another thing, and great job, Judy. If you guys are not scouring the coming soon listings, you're doing yourself and your client disservice. You've got to be on those.
It wasn't even on there.
Yeah.
My
Well,
client-
in
my
addition
client
to,
saw it when she was driving by.
yeah, got to get really creative. And if we have listings coming, I don't see very many reasons why we shouldn't be, Robert, close your ears, selling everything in-house.
Nice.
Yeah, you guys
Deb.
could definitely remember to put your, oh, sorry.
I
ahead.
cannot tell who's speaking. Emily? Oh, there you are.
It's Emily. Hi.
Hi.
I was just saying that if you guys could remember to put your off-market properties and your coming soons on our sheet, that would be awesome. It takes like 60 seconds to fill out the little Google form, and then it all goes on there, and Danica updates it every day. We scour that every day for our buyers. So in addition to that, I was going to say that some of the conversations I'm having for some of like the newer agents in our office with every buyer is managing expectations around, like Dan was saying, time frames, how long it's going to take them to potentially find something due to the level of competition in the market. We are talking about, depending on how well funded the buyer themselves, the buyer is, we'll talk about removing appraisal contingencies or coming up with shortages, in cash for appraisals that come under the agreed upon offer price. I'm having those types of conversations with almost every buyer up front now, because that's just kind of the world we're living in on at least most of the stuff that I'm putting offers in on. So yeah, just like Dan said, just trying to take the emotion out of it even more so than we normally would.
These are extreme circumstances. Extreme. Yeah, Deb.
So conversation I'm having now, I have a $600,000 condo buyer. She lives in my building in Discovery. She is offered to purchase her home because the landlords want to sell because they can't afford the liability anymore. Anyway, long and the short of it is they don't want to buy theirs because they need a 3-bedroom. So there are literally in 92101 4 3-bedrooms listed in that price point. So we made an offer. So an offer is out there. We got a counter back, but she called me today and she goes, well, I don't really want to do that. So I'm really going to start to look at 2 bedrooms now. So here's my question to you. Do I urge them along to get to where they needed to go? Or do I let them get back into the squeeze of just the 2 bedrooms because they're not going to be happy with that, but they can afford that? And let me tell you, the price point between a 2-bedroom and the little 4 3-bedrooms is like minor. So I'm throwing it out there. How do I help without making the decision, of course, for them? How do I help them along?
Ask a ton of questions. Ask a ton of questions to figure out why 3 bedrooms was so important to them, and then use the 4 quadrants, positive present, negative present, negative future. If you're here and we're in a similar Corona situation a year from now, are you going to be happy with 2 bedrooms?
Good.
Yeah.
All right. Perfect. That's all I needed.
Ashley.
Yep.
Question. So there was a property that was on Zillow. So it's getting syndicated from the Riverside MLS or CRMLS. But from what I thought we had a reciprocal relationship with the Riverside MLS. So when it gets syndicated out here too. So I was looking to see if other properties I was missing out on. They were marketed from up there for down here.
Yeah.
What's
So if you log into SDAR and you go into Paragon,
yeah,
you have to go into the resources tab and go to the different MLSs there. And I would be doing that too.
Yeah, I mean, I did that, and then I noticed that a couple that were listed up there were already syndicated down here through the Riverside MLS. And so I didn't know if there's a check that when they put it in there, that it stops it from syndicated down here, but it lets it syndicate to like Zillow, Trulia. Same with us up there. Do you know?
Vinny, I can help you with that answer. This is Dan, because I belong to more than one MLS out there. The sharing of that data is really bad. It just it is glitchy always and has never worked very effectively. Otherwise, I would only belong to one MLS, but that's why I have both San Diego and Palm Springs.
Okay.
Vinny, I want to speak to
You
that.
want to go search each of those, and we have the logins again on SDAR. You want to search those individually.
I actually want to speak to that as an opportunity, Ashley. I have been able to pick up properties for buyers by finding those that are so poorly syndicated, have the wrong lockbox on it, they're difficult to show, and we've not been in 14 and 30 offer situations. I have one closing tomorrow. I also picked up a price error. It was like $1 million, $2.7 million. We got in there before anyone else. Got in there strong, got in there fast, and built the report, even though we weren't highest offer. So I've had 3 closings going on in the low end condo range. That it's really making a difference. And we're just opening one right now in a higher end. And again, it's setting the expectations. It's all about, I think the most important expectation when you're dealing with buyers is not letting them shop at the top of their price point. Because what it's listed for in the MLS is not what it's going to sell for. If your budget's 500 and you're going in and 500 is your max, you're not going to get it because it's going to go for 5.25. Yep. And telling that, being brave, being strong, and then you're the hero because you didn't go. I mean, I don't have a million deals, but one of the things that I'm still bringing is my clients are not suffering buyer fatigue because we get them in escrow when they're realistic. And the ones that aren't going to get in escrow. That's just the way it is.
And the great news is 23,000 realtors in San Diego don't know that. At least 23,000.
So Bear, that's my favorite Ignite segment. That's the kind of a plug for me teaching later that on the negotiation that like, this is where you bring the difference is because you can, and you get a reputation among other agents for closing deals and being upfront, rolling up the sleeves for a win-win. And it's fun. Then it's fun because you've got great relationships. It sucks when you're fighting with the other agents and it's bad from the beginning.
To jump in behind Melinda, she brought it up Ignite. Please, if you're not already signed up for Ignite, join Ignite. Started yesterday with Chris Spade. Thank you.
And I'm going to put another kind of lesson on that. Don't be that agent who takes the listing in Riverside and lists it only in here. Don't be that person. And every year I've got people who say, yeah, I've got a relative up in San Francisco. Can I list it? Yeah, technically, legally you can, and you're not going to do the best job for them. Refer it out.
Actually, it's awful. Looking in the MLS, you look at the descriptions in the MLS, there is nothing there. You can tell right off the bat, there is like nothing there. There's nothing, no name about the complex. There's no name about square footage. There's nothing about what parking space it is. Absolutely nothing. And you know it's an out-of-towner.
Yep. All right.
Well, and to jump on what everybody's been saying, sorry, it's Emily again. With everybody like Melinda and Dan and Vinny and Deb, everybody, it still blows my mind in these multiple offer situations. I've beaten out, I think 2 at this stage in the last month where they just said they were going our way because of the level of communication because the other agents didn't even pick up the phone to call them. It's like, that's not a difficult thing to do. And how are you writing the most competitive offer for your buyer if you haven't called the seller's agent yet? So it's not hard to stand out.
Yeah.
Go ahead, sorry.
No, then those are the agents that are ticked off because they didn't get a response in a multiple counteroffer situation because they weren't communicative at the first. Crazy making.
And one other thing, if I might add, it's Susan.
Yes, ma'am.
when you do have a listing and you do have multiple offers, let's work on our reputation as an office and respond to those and let agents know that they either didn't get it or got it. I can't tell you how many people have been blubbering because they didn't have to track me down. And I know how annoying it is when you put offers in and you don't get anything. So just as a rule, if you are taking lots of offers on your listings, give everybody the courtesy of a response. That's it. Thanks.
Really good point. Well, in more ways than one, we are living in historic times, and this is definitely real estate history in San Diego. Number one, for the few realtors that are actually closing deals, and that 5,800 number is going to go down because of Corona. It's going to be even fewer by the end of the year, which is a good thing for you all. At least on the street competition, realtor to realtor is going to go down, but it's going to increase for buyers. Okay, other questions or comments?
I just wanted to thank everybody. I liked everybody that was just presenting right now and sharing all that information. And I did want to let everybody know that I just started Ignite again. The first time I didn't run through it so greatly, but I got back into it this time. And if you're not in it, you should jump in it. It's been really good information.
Okay, so two takeaways. As Robert started off, self-care is so important. Figure out a way to keep yourself balanced and focus all your activities on finding listings. And you're right, Mindy. Yeah, we will look back in a decade and laugh.
I have a question.
Yes, Sarah.
And I know, like, obviously we have scripts every morning, but just for those of you that are signing listings, like maybe even Paul, like, is there one particular script or thing that you do or say to secure a listing for us newer agents going into calling and trying to find listings? Like, just, is there one particular thing in this market right now that you have found has worked time and time again?
Steven.
I was actually gonna not only pick on Paul, but also Joe Fair. He literally has been able to get listing after a moment of hiatus, right, as we all did, by focusing in on the absentee owners.
Okay.
Development opportunities. And Sarah, thank you for asking. And essentially, it really is leading with that value proposition of saying, look at with the market going on, what do people need to offer for you to consider a 1031 exchange or cashing out?
Right.
Other property owners as well, just circle dialing. Hey, look, with the market being as hot as it is, what does someone need to offer for you to consider selling?
Mm-hmm.
You know, that, at least from what I'm getting the feedback on, that seems to be the go-to part that is piquing their interest.
Okay. I like the 44 offers thing. That's insane. And that's a really good value prop to say. Like, do you know what that means for you?
Yeah, just be like, hey, look, we got 44 offers on this property. When would be a good time for me to swing by and see if any of them would pique your interest?
Okay.
Another option.
Maybe a class on multiple offers and best practices in this COVID thing.
Okay, we will work on that.
Ashley, I just want to thank you for opening up the floor for agents to share their personal experiences. That was immensely helpful. I hope we continue to do that.
I always want, this morning, another Zoom. We finally got participation. That's where you guys are going to learn the most from each other. So please, always, always, always. And thank you for everybody who has decided to chime in.
And I want to chime in real quickly. If you have a listing and you got multiple offers, you should be taking those multiple offers around to the neighbors, blacking out the information, just saying, I had 12 offers on this property. I have 11 people still interested. Would you be interested in buying? Because I've got offers right here.
Yep.
And if you're looking for someone to run that class, you ought to talk to Amy Bloom, because she beat out 12 offers on a recent listing of mine and she killed it. I mean, obviously good communication, but you know, they gave the sellers 60 days to stay in the property. She did some really creative things that that helped her win. So you might want to include her in that. teaching side.
Noted.
Amy, you just got voluntold.
Ashley.
Yes. Hey, Michael.
Hello. Just to reiterate what everybody's saying, it's an extraordinarily, as you're all finding out, an extraordinarily competitive market. And obviously you want to be on the listing side, but a lot of us also have buyers. And communication is going to be your best tool in a multiple offer situation representing a buyer. You really, really need to be making best friends with that listing agent, asking a ton of questions, finding out exactly what's important to those sellers before you start putting your offer together or doing any of that. You need to have really good communication with your lender to find out exactly what your lender can do to shorten time frames, remove appraisal contingencies, doing all kinds of stuff. And then you need to take that information to your buyer, try to structure that offer, and go back to that listing agent and verbally start presenting that offer to that agent and try to get as much information as you can from them to make that offer the best that you can. Recently, I had one where I knew my buyer would go up to 920. I called the listing agent 3 or 4 times, had conversations with her, got into longer and longer conversations. By the 4th one, I got her to tell me every single thing we needed to write into the offer to get it. And then I started asking her about price. Oh, well, I can't tell you about price. Everybody's over asking, blah, 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 blah. Well, you've told me every other thing that we need to do. So what is the price that it's going to take? Oh, it's going to take $919,500. Great. Well, we're going to give you $920. So I'm going to write this up and we're going to get it accepted tonight. Another one recently was the sellers were contingent upon finding a property. Okay, well, tell me all the things that's important to them in this offer. We ended up writing a 21-day close contingent upon them finding a property with a 30-day free rent back. When you have buyers who are closing on a property and they can do things like that, that can put you above everybody else. So when you're in a multiple offer situation, those other agents I know, because I'm talking to the listing agent, aren't offering rent backs, let alone free rent backs, let alone 21-day closes. You have to find out from the listing agents what's important and keep asking questions until you get all the information. It's going to be extraordinarily frustrating when you're one of 10, 12, 20 buyers going over and over and over again and not getting it. And you can usually get it if you ask the right questions.
And ask often enough.
Over and over and over again. And there's different techniques to getting that information out. But if you're writing offers without at least calling the agent, then you need to come back when the market changes because you're not going to get anything accepted.
I can definitely attest to that. Sorry, I just wanted to chime in. My buyers are VA buyers, and I honestly do think that because of how many offers they were offered, we were accepted because of my communication with the listing agent, even for the fact that when we did offer above, obviously we have the appraisal contingency, and they called us and said, well, there's other people that have offers with different forms of financing that aren't contingent on the appraisal. What are you guys going to do? And so the fact that even with that being an issue, we were able to get our offer accepted. I genuinely think it was just because I was calling the listing agent every single day and checking in. So definitely there's power in that at the moment.
Great job. Great job, guys. So we are over time. Thank you for all the participation. Made it a really, really good and informative meeting for everybody. Let's go get some listings.